Welcome to Learning English with Captain Binoy Varakil, Assistant Professor, Department of English, St. Joseph College, Calicut, Kerala. We are discussing suprasegmental features or prosodic features or secondary phonemes. And in the previous lectures we have discussed the word stress, the intonation, and of course the rhythm. And today we discuss a new concept that comes under suprasegmental features, and it is known as juncture. Let's understand what we mean by juncture. Juncture refers to the transition from one segmental phoneme to another. It is, I repeat, transition from one segmental phoneme to another. And often this particular specific transition from one segmental phoneme to another is of course understood or felt as pause in speech. So what we mean by juncture is just pauses in connected speech. If we do not give appropriate and required kind of pauses in connected speech, there could be some problem or difficulty or confusion or ambiguity for the listener to understand what we mean and what we say. So there must be the right kind of pauses in our connected speech or in our speech. So we have to be quite sure about what we mean by the transition from one segmental phoneme to another, or what we call juncture. Let's understand in simple words what we mean by juncture. Juncture refers to pause in connected speech. And we have two types of junctures. Junctures are divided broadly into two. One is what is known as internal juncture. Internal juncture. This internal juncture is also called open juncture. There's one more name, that is plus juncture, because the juncture or transition from one phoneme to another is shown with the help of plus marks, and hence we call the first category internal juncture or open juncture or plus juncture. Let us look at two examples and understand what we mean by internal juncture. On the board we have two phrases. The first one is 6 teacups. 6 teacups. So if we are not giving the right kind of pause, the meaning could be different. Say we want to say something like 6 teacups. There are 6 teacups on the table. There are 6 teacups on the table. 6 teacups on the table. Alright? 6 teacups on the table. That's what we have to say. But if we do not give the right kind of pause, it could be there are 6 teacups on the table. It can be something like 60 cups. The meaning differs. There will be problem. We say that there are 60 cups and we invite 60 people for the tea or the party, and when they come there is just 6. It's causing a lot of problem. So there must be right kind of pause or transition, and this particular pause or transition is what is known as juncture. So we have to say 6 teacups. There are 6 teacups. There are 6 teacups, right? So we will say what is this internal juncture. The juncture is in between. It is within. And again, remember, it is open. So this is open to take the next one. So 6 teacups, right? It could be like 6 can go with tea, and it could be 60. Alright. So this particular element is open to take the next element, and you can say 60. So this particular element is open to take the next element, and we say that it is of course open juncture. Alright, so we have the internal juncture coming in between, right, 6 teacups. Alright, similarly we have of course that stuff was bad. That stuff was bad. But if you don't give the transition or the pause after that, it would be that stuff is bad. That means that's not stuff, right? That's not tough. That stuff, that's, it would be something like that's tough, T-O-U-G-H, okay? That's tough, that's tough. Similarly, of course, we have the way the waiter cut it. The waiter, okay, the way to cut it. The way to cut it becomes the way to cut it. The way to cut it. Similarly, of course, we have how strained. How strained. How strained can sometimes mean house trained. How strained. House trained. Okay, so that is the first kind of juncture, internal juncture or plus juncture or open juncture. Juncture is nothing but giving pause. And now we come to what is known as terminal juncture. Terminal juncture is of course giving pause after specific phrases or clauses. And that is of course we have single bar juncture. Single bar juncture refers to a small pause, like in sentence like his friend Mohan is in here. His friend Mohan is in here. We are giving a small pause, and such type of small pause is what is known as single bar juncture. His friend Mohan is in here. His friend Mohan is in here. And next terminal juncture is of course double bar juncture. The pause is longer than the single bar juncture, and we say, okay, 1, 2, 3, it is in counting, right? The sound is slowly just trailing off or vanishing, and that is of course the pause is longer, and that is of course what we mean by double bar juncture. And next we have another juncture, that is double cross bar juncture. That is of course we have a longer pause, and that longer pause is what is known as double cross bar juncture. Okay, so right now we have discussed the fourth concept in suprasegmental features, that is juncture, and we know that juncture refers to transition from one segmental phoneme to another, and juncture is felt as pause in connected speech. So we have based on the different types of pause and problems that can happen if we don't give the right kind of pause. We have two major kind of junctures. One is terminal juncture, or of course the terminal juncture is again classified into single bar juncture, double bar juncture, and double cross bar juncture. The other is of course the internal juncture. Internal juncture is also known as open juncture or the plus juncture, because it is marked with the plus marks. So with this week I have come to the end of our discussion on juncture, the fourth suprasegmental feature. Thank you very much for listening.